Well, this looks terrible. Yes, this looks absolutely terrible. This is an old computer. I don't know if it's maybe the webcam. And you have some inception going on here that maybe I should turn the light out. No, that's not helping. My cat wants out of the other room, so I'll be back. Ah! All right. That wasn't a good sound, was it? Okay, so there's theoretically some people watching, myself being one of them. One of the things I do, for those of you who are not, what am I talking about? This is probably nobody here actually listening, but one of the things I do is every time I have a beverage that has calories in it, I try to make a video. So I'm trying this on a live stream. This is a Venom Mango. And this is a ice block, which contains... Good morning, Frozen Fox, which contains a bitter melon gourd tea, which is supposed to be good for my diabetes. So, what's going on here is that I need channel hours, or I need watch hours for my channel. And I'm now experimenting on the...
smart.
My computer is rebelling. There we go. So I'm experimenting with live streaming because live streaming appears to give me watch hours. Punk rock. You should do beer reviews. I do beer reviews on Random Street Theater. Being seriously, have you not seen? You're aware that this is not a channel where I do reviews, right? This not what we do here. This is the channel where I talk and be annoying. Random Street Theater is where I review beverages. So, whereas I may mix a drink on this channel, and I do that, I do not. I do not review them on this channel. I didn't know about that channel. I only knew about this channel. Yeah, I have 6 channels. I think I need to ergonomically put this over here. But to have a non-static background, I'm doing this. Okay, so this is free media. Robot Monster. Anyway, I have 6 channels. Random Street Theater is where I primarily do reviews. I do have a channel where I review children's books, although I haven't done so in some time. I mean, look, different content for different places. I can tell you that right now I actually have in my possession, I purchased it last month, of course, is a collection of 12 beers of Christmas. And I don't know why they're Christmas beers, because they don't look very Christmas to me, but then I did not really take a good look at them. They were on sale. So there was 12 different beers in the package, and I bought 2 of them because buying one of any flavor of beer is just sad. It's very sad. So I decided to do. Have any questions? Yes, Frozen Fox, the fire is indeed getting worse. It is consuming more areas. Right now, my primary concern is that the evacuation zone has reached the 210 freeway, which is still several miles from my house. But you know, it's coming closer is essentially the problem. And I mean, you know, we're not exactly helped by the fact that everybody's arguing over what aid California now deserves. I can show you the fire map here. Okay, this is, I don't know if you can really see that. It's adjusting. But this is the fire map for California. And it actually shows right here is where one of the drop vessels is. I don't know if I can really adjust the brightness much. Hold on. Nope. This webcam sucks. Yep. Yep. That's not helping. But to give you an idea, you know, it's like this is the fire map. And I know you can't really make up the topography here, but these are the mountains. This is the Pacific Palisades fire, which is creeping closer towards Hollywood, which is about here. West Hollywood is here. This is the heart of Los Angeles, and I'm over in this area. So that fire is not threatening me. But up here above my house is the Eaton fire. And I can tell you that the Eaton fire is getting much larger. You know, I mean, you can't see it because this webcam really stinks. But this is an old computer. Okay, just one thing you guys need to be aware of is almost everything I own is rather antiquated. So it's like this computer here is more than 10 years old. It's at the end of its life expectancy. It cannot be upgraded to Windows 11. But anyway, so yes, the fires are getting worse. Get assembled, which is no fun for me because I really don't have the computer skills. I might be able to coax him into, like, you know, coaching me or something, but I believe nowadays you can just have them built very easily. The Bear. Oof. He is not big enough to jump up on my shoulder yet. And I'm wearing shorts because I live in California. So he just clawed the heck out of my leg to get up here. Oof. PC building is like adult Lego. How many cats? I don't know how many cats are currently in my home. I don't. Like I say, many of them are up for adoption. I'm planning to keep Bear and his mother. Bear. I mean, I love this little booger, but of course, it's really going to depend on my financial situation in the future. You know, I mean, it would be really great if I could actually afford to buy a new house, go live there, and then have my brother come live here. And then he would want companions, which are cats. And then I would have to find somebody to take care of him. But I'm never going to be that rich. So he is a little spitfire, isn't he? Yes, Frozen Fox. I will never say. I mean, it is entirely possible. Um, it is entirely possible that at some point I could become rather wealthy. I don't think it likely, but it is always. I mean, you know, a lot of people found their stride later in life, and they say, you know, 40 is the new 20. It's eating me. And I don't know if you can hear his sister in the background there. I think that's his sister. I have no idea. I turned the lights out. Got to hit the big on YouTube. Got to hit it big on YouTube. Yeah. I have a brother and a sister. How many siblings? Green Dog has how many siblings? I have a brother and I have a sister. And they both hate me. The only reason I would want to take care of my brother is primarily to prevent him from hurting other people because he suffers from mental illness, and he does dislike me quite a bit. My sister, if she could, she'd sell my organs on the internet. You know, and my family has never gotten along. I can tell you that when my mother passed away, I got a letter from her sister saying that she did not attend the funeral out of respect because she didn't want to fight with her siblings. So, be that as it is. Is it really true that your neighbors killed your cats? Yes. Um, I guess Frozen Fox is either a great watcher or been following me for a long time. I had a neighbor whose name was Wendell, and he was an insane old man who every morning would be out on his lawn weeding the place with his rear end hanging out. And uh, at some point, he started killing my animals. I believe he poisoned two dogs, and I can't even count how many cats because he told me he shot cats in his backyard, and then my cat started disappearing. And the point where we realized it was him is that one of my cats was found. His skull was broken, but the skin was not pierced. And, you know, my brother mentioned to this neighbor, he says, you know, I think somebody shot my cat. And the neighbor says, well, I'll cut his head open and show you the broken bones. So it's like, well, how did he know he had broken bones? So I actually spoke to a retired detective who said, this man is either responsible for or somehow connected with the person who killed your animal. Okay. And The reason I believe he poisoned the dogs is because both dogs died mysteriously in the same year. Dude was always in my backyard. He was always feeding things to my dogs, but he had like one pocket for one dog and one pocket for the other dog. So one day, one of the dogs just stopped eating and dropped over dead. And then, about 6 months later, the other dog became incontinent and started pooing all over itself. And, like 6 weeks before that, the veterinarian had told me that he thought this animal, or she told me that she thought the animal was amazingly well cared for. So, but he died. He died in the pandemic, and then his son overdosed. So his son died, and then after his son overdosed, his wife died. So he has no descendants. Frozen Fox. Now I watched a lot of videos. My very first one was in August last year on Fat Man Getting Fit. The algorithm recommended me that video. Okay, yeah. A lot of videos. And I can tell you, look, I've always been a bachelor because I'm one of those people. I've had so many bad experiences in life. It's hard to let people in, and I don't have any trouble finding women. I actually ran into a woman the other day or last year, maybe the year before. I've known her for a couple of years actually, but when she was a senior in high school, mind you, I'm in my 40s. Her mother actually encouraged her to go out with me. Now I think that she has a boyfriend. Her mother's trying to get on me. So, well, I mean, at least the mother's my age. Yeah. So yeah, I make a good impression on people. I'm good with them, and my cats are my family because it's hard for me to let people in. I know this little booger here is not going to turn on me. Dude, I'm single for 10 years now, and I'm 37. Okay. In case you haven't figured it out, the world is terrible. And right before the world got terrible, years before the world got terrible, there's this old joke. I'd love to hang out with you again the next time either of us has the time or the money. And that's one of those things. It's like, I have a friend who lives in Irvine, and that's quite a distance from me, and we're good friends. And tell me about it. Yeah, dude. And we've known each other since college, and I would love to go see him, take him to a bar or whatever, and just do what friends do. But the bottom line is, he doesn't really have the money to be doing that, particularly lately. And I don't have the time or the money to be doing that. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that literally what would have to happen is I'd have to make a lot of money on YouTube. And then I would have to contract him to do work for me because he is an artistic type person. Yeah, he plays the drums. He was a sound designer in college. But, I mean, he doesn't currently have a computer where he could do these things. So I would have to literally buy him the computer, pay for all the programming, and then, I don't know if he'd be able to figure it out from that point, or he'd need to go back to school and be re-educated to do the things I would need him to do sound-wise. And I mean, like, yeah, my editing skills are very light, and I do extremely light editing. And, it's many of my computers are so old now that they can't edit. But, I could teach him how to edit my videos, but it just wouldn't be worth it for me to drive down to Irvine when I can edit them on my own computer, given what I do to them. Isn't it funny we, as a species, are more connected than ever, but we grow more and more apart? Yes. A weird thing that came up, Frozen Fox, is that doctors were being critical of C-sections because C-sections were becoming more common. And, the way a baby slides out of a person, apparently, is that it comes out head first, And for a moment, the baby and the mother are tail to tail. And this actually provides the child with certain probiotics. Okay. So they're seeing more problems in terms of digestion because of C-sections. And it's just one of those things about we as human beings is we are a superorganism. And when you think about that, it's like, well, I mean, what was the first thing we identified as a superorganism was ants. But, I mean, we're tribal creatures. We function with each other. And, I mean, it's like the definition of a cyborg, for example, is a human being enhanced by technology. Well, that line is very strange. When you think about it, I mean, the fact that you can see me right now is because I'm enhanced with technology, and that enhancement impacts us all. So you have to take that into a certain level of account, you know. Just one of those things. So we're very interconnected as a species, yet we are becoming more and more isolated. I mean, there was a time in human history where we were terrified of germs because they were new and scary. And I believe Ernest Hemingway wrote about it in Travels with Charlie, where he talked about how things were so sterilized and, you know, everything was cleaned and neat. And then, you know, he went and had like tea with this guy whose glasses were so dirty you couldn't see through them. And he enjoyed that more. What about Jesus, though? Darren, you're going to have to be more specific, okay? I'm not a religious scholar, so what do you mean about Jesus? I mean, you know, or do you mean Jesus, the guy I used to be my boss more than 10 years ago? Because, uh, you know, he's someone we could talk about. You know, Bear here is just like his mother. That's her spot, Bear. We call them helicopter parents in Germany. Okay. I've heard the term helicopter parent, and I've heard the term bulldozer parent. And a helicopter parent is somebody who is always sort of buzzing around their kid, watching over them like a helicopter, protecting them from pain and suffering. And a bulldozer parent is somebody that clears the path for their parent, for their child, in a destructive manner. Yes, because they're hovering over their kids. Darren, I am loved by many people and animals. Jesus of Nazareth, or Yeshua of the line of David, as some consider him, you know, was a man of the cloth for our people. He would have been a rabbi, and many of the things about his life are expressed as Jewish traditions. You know, a rabbi is required to learn a trade in tradition. So, yes, you know, he had the general love for all mankind that all of us Jews have. And, you know, do try to remember here that hate is extremely un-Jewish. Hate is what people heap on Jews, not what we as Jews are supposed to produce or practice. You know, it's just one of those things. So, you know, this concept of hating other people because they don't believe in what you believe or because they look different, that is a Gentile thing. And it's really, you know, it's like I have told many a Christian there's a Jew you should really listen to. He's got this book out. It's called the Bible. And if you actually read it and actually paid attention to it, you would live your life very differently. Frozen Fox, do you know how much I wished we had stuck in the 80s? And that was just how it was. It used to be, however, in the 80s, you were a security officer, you made $20,000 a year, and, you could afford a house. House prices went up. I remember when I was a person in the 80s hearing my old man complain about property prices. And, they've gone from, they've added an extra digit or two in that time period. So, yeah, I mean, the most popular film of the 80s was The Goonies. I have seen that film more than 100 times. My brother hates it. I got it on VHS back in the day. And, it's just one of those things. Yes, Bear? Bear has boogers. 8 of you folks watching now. Rochester 92. I was born 90 and had a blast as a kid. Yeah, the 90s weren't all bad. I mean, there are kids having fun today, I guarantee you. It's like, look, the 70s, the 60s was, free love because we're all going to get annihilated by the bomb. The 70s was it's time for blow, as in cocaine. The prevalence of cocaine rose significantly. And then the 80s, it was like, AIDS! AIDS! And then everybody was very concerned. And then, the 90s, we pretty much forgot about the 80s because of all the blow. Frozen Fox, I mean, the social media is a blessing in disguise. And I think if we had less of it, we would be better off. Aha, nice overview. Yes. Look, social media is neither good nor bad. All right. I have a Twitter, I have a Blue Sky, I have a Facebook and Instagram. I don't know what's happened to my MySpace, but I believe it was deleted by MySpace because now they promote bands. Social media is a great thing. We can keep in touch with people much easier now. But do understand that it's no replacement for getting out there and actually talking to people. I have a friend. I used to work with him at a hotel in Burbank or Glendale. And, we don't know what to do with each other anymore. He has his life. I have my life. We don't really like the same things, although we were really good friends. We worked well together. And we communicate over social media. I personally don't think if I stop texting him, if I stop messaging him over social media, I personally believe he would never speak to me again. He'd just forget I exist. But, that's my main form of communication with my friends. I have a cousin who, so far as I'm aware, is the only living cousin I have, only relative I have that wants to speak to me. And I communicate with her over social media. And that's, it's a thing. But she's always like, hey, you should come visit us in Ohio. And it's like, you don't want me to come visit you in Ohio. I have things to take care of here. I really can't leave. I have no one to watch my house. And even if I did, it's like, what would I do in Ohio? We'd sit there and we'd Frozen Fox. I'm in a similar situation. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, what happened with the entire world and every place where there are elections, every place in the free world where elections are not rigged, uh, we have had regime changes. Okay. Justin Trudeau resigned in Canada because he said, you know, things are happening. I don't want to be ousted. So I'm going to step down just to let the people decide what their future is. And it's like, with Donald Trump there, why did Donald Trump get elected? Because people want change. The situation they're in is not good. So, it's like I went to the store yesterday and a dozen eggs was $9. Okay. That's a lot of money for eggs. And I don't have any eggs, but I figured I should probably wait a bit because, there would be a run on certain things right now anyway. There was an Airbnb that rose by something like $10,000 a month because of the wildfires. So I don't know if those egg prices are reflectant of California or just that market. But I did notice that most of the area in the store normally filled with eggs was empty. And this happened after the pandemic, or during the pandemic. I remember I went into the store and there was no bread. Okay, there was no lunch meat. There was no cheese. And the reason was that all the things that were easy to make had been purchased because no one could go to restaurants. And, in the last 4 years, or the last 4 years, I guess you would say, we've been seeing a lot of the restaurants that I used to go to closing. And, part of it is like, okay, I wasn't going there anymore. But another part of it is that nobody's going there anymore because they're so uncertain and they don't want to spend money. Yeah, the cost of living is through the roof. Yeah. And it's not a supply issue for the most part. One of the things that happened is that retailers came up with the idea. They said, we can charge more. And they did. Inflation is manufactured. And all across the world, people got this idea. Tristan Smith, Richard Live. Yes, Tristan, this is my second time going live. My first time, I did it with my my phone here. It's on a mount. We're just talking. If you got any questions, I'm going to talk as long as you guys want to, or at least as long as my drink holds out. I am testing the use of this computer. I don't know if you guys like the computer better or the cell phone. The cell phone, you just get the strip there. I can't figure out how to make it a full thing, so I'm trying the computer. The computer is a lot lower resolution. It's a lot older, and it's a lot. What is it? It's a lot less refined, essentially. This is a ThinkPad. It's a Lenovo ThinkPad, and they're designed for work, not for high quality streaming. Tristan, where's the fire in relation to you now? It's about 15 miles away, I think. I am near the Eaton Fire, whatever it's called, and the evacuation zone is growing slowly. The winds could make it a lot worse. The absolute worst case scenario is that the fires could reach my house by morning. It's about 8:30 right now here in California, 8:19. So that's the worst case scenario, though. If the 100 mile an hour winds picked up and blew the embers in my direction. An ember can travel about 3 miles. Uh, so you just have to figure that 100-mile-an-hour winds, 3 miles, the fires can creep in my direction. But that's not likely, okay? It does appear as though I'm safe. I don't want to get sympathy from you guys. I appear to be safe right now, all right? I will get a text on my phone if that changes, but otherwise, I'm safe. Okay, my home is owned by a trust, all right? And I don't know if I have fire insurance. It's something that the trust has taken away from me. I mean, look, guys, one of the things I really want to do, and this would be the occasion under which I would try cannabis for the first time, is if I ever resolve my mother's estate, which this house I live in is my mother's estate. Yes, it's an inheritance from my mother, Tristan. Is I want to write a letter to my dead relatives, and I want to go up. We actually have a Camp Crystal Lake here in California. So we don't have a Jason Voorhees, but we have a Crystal Lake. And I want to go up there and I want to get drunk and have a bonfire. And I want to read letters to my father and my mother, who are both passed away. And then I want to burn them. The letters, I mean. And the reason one does that is to, you let go. One of the therapy techniques is that you write letters to the people who you're angry at, and then you cast those into the fire as a symbolic gesture of moving on. And it's one of the things they say is you forgive people not for yourself, or not for them, but for yourself. And the reason you do that is because when you don't forgive people, you carry around pain and suffering. Right? And that's very true. I spent a lot of my life being angry at people because of the wrongs that they did to me. And, I had to walk away from that at some point. I've actually been able to teach people a lot of anger management techniques. Okay. We have now been up for 41 minutes, according to my computer here. Tristran, oh yeah, man, forgiveness is a massive thing. I have trouble with it too sometimes. Do you enjoy doing YouTube? Yes, I do enjoy doing YouTube. And Tristran, if forgiveness were easy, we wouldn't be having this conversation about it, would we? Just understand it's hard for a lot of us. Particularly if you've been very, very badly wronged. And just remember that forgiving does not mean forgetting. Okay, so Frozen Fox, when you on call, let's say for a month, you don't get any call, how can you afford food or anything? I'm just curious. Okay, so I got 6 months of unemployment, which money every week. And I had savings. I have savings, okay? I'm currently not having money coming in, but I do have enough money so that if I don't find a job in the next 6 months, I won't be out of money. I will be nearly out of money. Well, in 6 months I would be. But, that's the thing. So, yeah, I mean, my finances are in order. The problem you have to understand is that my day-to-day living isn't as expensive as most people's. I don't have a rent. My house is paid for. So it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about making the rent every month, but I do have to worry about other things. And then making repairs to my home That's the problem. Paying my lawyer, that's the problem. Those things, which are kind of offset and existential, like my lawyer, they only ask me for money when they absolutely need it. And they, God bless them, they are very good about that sort of thing. But I mean, the case regarding my father's estate is looking more and more grim. It's just, oh, that man screwed up so badly. Oh. All right, guys, we need questions. Who pays your property tax? Okay, I believe what's going on at the moment is that my sister is paying the property tax because she's not doing anything else to maintain the property. So she's paying the tax and the insurance, because if she doesn't, I would have a legitimate case to call her derelict and say, this is not your home, you're not maintaining it. In the state of California, that's a thing. So because she doesn't pay the utilities or anything like that, that now the property tax. Do understand that my house was purchased 45 years ago, so the property tax is quite low. Tristan Smith, I work nights too, so my life schedule is all messed up. I work 1:20 to 11:50. It gives me the freedom to stay up, but it's hard to live a life working nights. I work for Amazon. It's a great, that makes sense, Tristan. You should look into it. Yeah, Amazon actually has a contract with the company I'm currently employed by, and they basically said that there's nothing anywhere near me. Although that could change. I don't know. Frozen Fox, is it better between you and your sister still going on about the house? My sister has been trying to kick me out of this house for the last 25 years. She cut me out of my father's estate. That's why the lawsuit. And when I said I wanted an accounting, she said he had no estate and that I should get a lawyer. The woman hates me. She has always hated me. She's always resented me because she felt that anything I got was something less that she got. And that's what's going on. They do not reassess the value of my house every year, so far as I'm aware. The last time I saw the paperwork, my house was on paper valued at less than $100,000. That's what I'm taxed, or that's what the property is taxed on. And part of that is that over the years, the house should have been upgraded. And it has been to a certain extent, although I would never call anything that's been done to this house an upgrade. I have never been able to find a good contractor. Yeah, property in LA is very expensive, but you know, I only own a third of the house. One of the things I could do is I could um, sell the house and move to another state where the property is cheaper. But I've lived my whole life here. I don't know anyone. No, I mean, my cousin wants me to come live with her, or at least near her, but she hasn't even lived there that long. She's from Pennsylvania. And it's like, I don't know. And then I have a friend of mine. For those of you that know me the wellest or the best out of the 6 people who are watching, you've probably heard me mention Letters to Cassie and Other Folks, which is one of my blogs. My friend Cassie, we think of each other as family. I haven't seen her in more than 10 years. I've never met her children. I've never met her husband. And she's said, like, you should come live by me. You could stay at the house for a little while you find a job. And that's a thing. I mean, there are even people that say we could have you in your new house before you leave your old house. But, you know, I've never had a particular desire to move. And if I did, it would mean my sister would get her money out of this house. And, well, that's a downer. Tristran, man, sell out 1/3 and come to Tennessee. Do they accept Jews in Tennessee, Tristran? Do they? I mean, really? Seven people watching now. And one of them is me. Oh, down to 6. Dude, Tennessee loves everyone. Ha ha ha. It's all bull stuff what you hear about Appalachia. Well, I mean, it's not something I care that much or I'm that concerned about, but it's been a long time since I've been to Tennessee. I wish I had a house. I pay around 600 euros every month, which is cheap for Berlin. Yeah, that's actually really cheap. You could pass as a non-Jew. Yeah, I could. But okay, I primarily look Irish. And that is because, if you guys aren't aware, the name Neal is an Irish name. Uh, Neal, coming from O'Neill or McNeil, means son of Nile. In the prehistoric times, there was a King Nile, and we're reasonably sure there was indeed a real person named King Nile, although his biography was kept as an oral tradition, which means wasn't written down. That's what prehistoric means before writing. And, that's where my name comes from. So most people, most Europeans would recognize me as being, yes, I have taken an ancestry test. Jews in New York don't have blue eyes and blonde hair. I've never been married. Yes, I prefer to call it blood blonde frozen fox, not strawberry blonde. But when I was young, I had fair blonde, but now it's darkened some. Uh, look, do you understand something about we Ashkenazi? It's like when I read the book Alicia, My Story by Alicia Appelman German, she lived in the Ukraine during World War II. And both of her brothers were murdered. And she said, did my brothers die because they looked Jewish with their blonde hair and blue eyes? Right? So my mother's parents fled the Holocaust. And this is what we looked like. But apparently looking like me was a red flag during the Second World War. And the people that look like me are dead. They are residents of the dust. So, it's a very dark history. What hobbies? Well, my hobby is YouTube. I have a lot of other weird hobbies. I mean, I do a lot of reading. People say that all the time. I do some drawing. Or no, well, not anymore, but I used to. I have my blogs. Those are my hobbies. I don't know if I can find you guys an example of my artwork. Let me see here. I'm not a good artist, if any of you are wondering. I'm really not a good artist. So don't expect something wonderful, but yeah, here we are. You know, oh, you can't see it. Yeah, it's too bright. But if you Googled Random Street Theater, you'll find the YouTube channel, and this webcam is terrible. And you will also find the blog, which showcases my artwork. No, man, you gotta have hobbies outside the house. It helps with depression to be outside. Yeah, look, pretty much the only hobby I have is to take pictures. I do photography, and that gets me out of the house. Frozen Fox, man, I wish I could afford to go to my mother again. She's from Lone Pine. Lone Pine. That's I don't know where that is. Hmm. Yeah. Wonder if I could find a dark photograph for you guys. Well, I mean, for those of you that see Richard's Fat Man getting fit, what you see in the background is these pictures here. Those are all from my blog. Photographs of a Mad Richard. Yes, I own a car. I own a Honda Civic, 2011 Honda Civic. It's old and battered. Cali, yes, California. Oh, Lone Pine, California? Really? I still don't know where that is. Me and my wife just took a trip to Pakistan. It was one of the best trips to one of the best places I have ever been to. Yeah, I don't know about Pakistan. I remember seeing or in college, I met a Pakistani girl, and she had curves like a roller coaster. I tell you this much, but uh, she was very sheepish about being from Pakistan, and I was like, "What difference does it make? People are just people." Although I personally have to admit that the recipes because we had a cooking class together, the recipes she had from Pakistan were miserable. I mean, I really hated them, but maybe she just wasn't a good cook. Yes, and everybody is trying to buy your car from Canada to Brazil. Um, Look, the 2011 Civic has a bad paint job, and the paint job doesn't last. So my car looks like a derelict. And because I always park in the same place and I'm never gone during the day, people think my car doesn't move. So they think my car is a scrap car, and they're like, well, I could fix that up and sell it. And it's like, no, no, you can't. It's my car. Have you ever been in love? No, I don't think so. I mean, I've had women I would really like to have had much more of a relationship with, but I don't even know if I'm capable of falling in love at this point. I've just been seeing too much terrible things. I mean, there was one girl, and I just never made a move on her. And even nowadays, I check her Instagram every now and again. We're not friends or anything. I don't think she'd want to talk to me. She's had a bad past, and I imagine by now she's married with kids anyway, but she hasn't talked about that. But it's like she's on the list of people that if I ever made it big on YouTube, if I were a millionaire, I would do things to help her out. But yeah, I mean, I never got to know who she was as a person because I just never had the time. My life has always been this nightmare of activity, and well, that's why I've never been in love. We spent 8 days in country, 10 days total. Two spent in Turkey. Those people are extremely friendly. Nah, the food was very good. The best dishes were called minik and alu and naharai. Look it up. Okay. Yes, as I say, the Pakistani girl I knew was probably a miserable cook. You know, and nothing wrong with that. I've never been outside of the United States, by the way. The closest I have ever been to outside of the United States is where is it? It's an island off the shore of California, and I can't remember the name anymore. It's on the tip of my tongue. I know that the capital is, or I think the capital of the island is Avalon. If she was a Nakanaki Jew, you would have found time. What makes you think she wasn't an Ashkenazi? No, look, I'm dangerously depressed. There are days I can't even get out of bed. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure she was at least another kind of Jew. But, to be honest with you, I'm terrible with women in that regard. Catalina, yes. Yes, Catalina. But, I review every one of that woman's movies because she's an actress. She's an actress and what is it? A singer. She plays the piano. So I review every one of her movies I can get my hands on. Richard, we gave away a cruise to people that have never been on a cruise. Me and my wife decided this year we would help a dude because for the last 5 years it been female only. I don't understand you, Tristan. I'd like to pick you to give Christmas to this year as 2025. What do you want? Tristan, if you're not a homeowner, what I want for you is for you to lead a good life, man. Put the money down on the house. Uh, Frozen Fox. Well, the only thing I really love about Germany is the health and social security system. If it wasn't for that, I would move to the States. Yeah, there are a lot of good things in Germany. I'm sure there are. There are also a lot of bad things in Germany. And um, every place has its problems. America got to get something we usually spend about $250, and the person we pick. I'm excited to see what you ask for. Dude, when I ask me around Halloween, okay? I've got a wish list on Amazon. One of the things I tell people, cat food is always good because I have a lot of cats to feed. But yeah, I got a whole year to decide. Is related to Chuck Mangione. I don't know what you mean there. I gotcha. We'll get you a webcam for your Lenovo. Dude, this is a Windows 10 Lenovo. It's not, I mean, look, it. I would have it that was originally designed specifically for rendering, and that's why the dual graphics card, prevent some of the anomalies I find in rendering, although this particular computer is now so old that it fails on me every now and again. So I'm not streaming on this computer, right? This is my mainline computer where I do all of my typing and such, but this could go out at any time. What I'm streaming on is a Lenovo, I believe it's a T430. And my major Lenovo fleet, I had at one time like 4 working computers. They were all T61s, but the T61s have just gotten too old, and I don't use as many computers as I used to. At least you don't pick Apple garbage. I can't stand Apple. Yeah, a friend, well, someone who I used to consider a friend, bought me an Apple. So I have some Apple computers, but I don't use them for anything. Let me check the LA area for a PC, and we'll see what we can do. Check around Christmas. They'd probably be cheaper by then. There is a restriction on what you can and cannot send to Los Angeles computer-wise, but if you are going to buy me a computer, do try to stick with a Lenovo because the power supplies are transferable. This computer that I'm using is a barrel type, and I have a box type power supply over there, and then one of my Lenovo's is the new USB-D. So, but I have a converter that I can go from any of those, from the barrel to any of those. So that's not an issue. $590 is the booty hole? What? You guys are getting weird. I've got a one. You're getting into hacking. What are you hacking? Exactly what are you hacking, Tristan? I use my X account every day. I mean, I have blogs. What the commercial? You might be able to see it because it is dark. But there's my X. Just so you folks know, I do tend to put things dark on my computer because it's easier on my eyes. Profile. Yeah, so here, I mean, you can't see it that well, but here's my profile. There's a picture of me in makeup. I played Jonathan in a play called Arsenic and Old Lace back in high school, and you know, you'll see there's like you can't see it because it's blurred out, but the pictures here are from my blog. You know, every day I go out there and I share my blog, and you see, you know, it's like these are pictures of food and whatever have you because I do a blog where I review food. Welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide your own community guidelines. Weird. Okay. Tristan, I didn't know you had next. Right now, all I can do is get Wi-Fi passwords and log into Wi-Fi's into the neighborhood. Okay, so apparently you set off an alarm with YouTube, Tristan. But it's a really simple thing to do. I bet it is. I just found you. Well, you know, now that you're talking about hacking, Tristan, that sounds pretty ominous. All right. So again, there's now 72 minutes in this. The last one I did was 2 hours. All right. Now, again, these are going to be pretty sporadic until I find out what effect they actually have on my channel. The Cosmic Man. So, yes, laughing till you're crying. Frozen Fox, Tristram Smith to Frozen Fox, do you like the 4090? Lots of Jews in Brooklyn, you might want to move there. Why is this not going? My mother apparently got her pharmacy degree in New York and did not find it to be a good place to be for her people. Now, do mind, my mother was of far fairer skin than I, and she had black hair and green eyes. So I don't know if she was more recognizable to most people as one of our people. I have dated many Gentiles. I have never been terribly concerned with heritage when it comes to dating. I've dated Jews, I've dated Gentiles. I think the last, I don't even remember. The last date I can remember, I dated a black girl. I did not ask if she had any Semitic blood, but then it wasn't important. I mean, look, I understand something. When I go out on a date, I generally like to find something I enjoy doing, and then I invite somebody else to go with me. And I don't really, it's the company that I'm most concerned with. Just having company. I'm going to tag you in a photo with my PC on X. I'm not sure how that works, Tristram. I use X every day, but I don't go into the intricacies there. We're down to 6 again. Look into Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I think you'd like it there. Well, look, a lot of things have to happen. Do understand here. I do believe my sister wants to sell my house, but we don't exactly talk. So, and what do I think of Elon Musk? Green Dog, clearly you don't watch my shorts. One of the jokes that I've been putting out that I got a lot of flack for actually was that I was out shopping and I asked this woman if she was getting an Elon Musk doll for her kids for Christmas, and she goes, "No, I'm buying a new douche." So I don't like Elon. He's not here for the good of mankind, all right? Dude's got so much money that he thinks that taking a trip to Mars would be the thing to do with that money. It's like, there are people suffering. If I had that money, I'd be doing good with it. I'm going to get ready for work, so I'll be Neal in the chat for a minute. Okay, dude, we're probably going to wrap this up sometime soon. I have consumed all of my energy drink. It has been more than an hour, and we're not getting a lot of questions. Green Dog, I don't like him either. So, Green Dog, tell me this much. When it comes to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, are you surprised that Donald Trump is the bottom? Normally, the most famous bottom in Washington is, of course, Lindsey Graham, who loves to be the bottom. But, Donald Trump was normally the one on top, and the entire GOP was in his back end. But I'm sorry. Look. I'm not in love with Biden either. I have a lot of stern criticism for him, particularly how he's handled things in Ukraine. Bother me, but oh god, do I hate Donald Trump. I mean, you know, under Donald Trump, the synagogues in Los Angeles needed armed guards. That was a new thing under Donald. In fact, my first lawyer who has passed away, he was an older man, he volunteered at an armed guard at his synagogue. So, he went to temple with a gun on his hip and guarded the place against violence. And that is something that happened under Trump. Now, under Biden, we now have angry mobs hunting my people. Listen to the worst thing or all is that weirdo VP Vance we have now. I don't know much about Vance. He's almost non-existent at this point. I mean, they're saying that the real president is Elon Musk, who's basically playing Trump like a fiddle. MAGA world is in civil war over immigration and visas, and the future of this country is very unstable. Right? Probably the worst thing about Trump is we just don't know what he's going to do. The normal rules do not apply, and that can be a very appealing concept that the normal rules do not apply. But it also means that we just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if Harris had been elected president, we know absolutely and without question that if China attacked Taiwan, America would be in Taiwan's corner. We know that. That is a fact. We know that if basically any other career politician were elected president, that America would be in Taiwan's corner because they see the global implications of what would happen if China took Taiwan. We don't know what Donald Trump will do. Tristan Smith, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I support Donald Trump and think our country will be far better off with him. You already been president, so I think we know exactly what we'll get. Tristan, you never really know until they're there. I mean, my friend Cassie is a Trump supporter. My cousin Lori is a Trump supporter. Just because I don't like Trump doesn't mean that changes my opinion of you. You have a right to believe what you believe. I generally think you should do more research on the topic, but that's just me. Shiva NJ1, I think you should go to one of those California weed stores, buy a single joint, and do one of your videos with the joint while you're smoking it instead of alcohol. If I resolve my mother's estate, I intend to do that. I was thinking of getting a blackout bar because, go big or go home. But what I would do is I would purchase a cannabis product for review so that I could write a review about it. That's what I would do. Elon Musk just endorsed the far-right government in Germany, the AfD. Yes, Elon Musk has stuck his hand in the rear end of people in England as well. He's basically trying to make the world fascist. He is a threat to our democracy. He is a threat to the free world. This is not just my opinion, but the opinion of the intelligence community of America. You guys know Elon Musk voted blue his entire life until his last election cycle, right? I was not aware of that, and I would have to look that up. What is going on here? So, look, Elon Musk is separated from the rest of us by the very simple fact that he is so wealthy that he does not have to obey the rules. If they don't repair the roads, he could have them repaired himself. If he got sick, he could literally have them build a hospital to take care of him. So he doesn't have the concern that the rest of us have for the rest of the country. Now, the big issue with MAGA world right now, Elon Musk is saying we need to open up visas so that America can recruit the best talent. And that's not a bad idea. Okay? But do understand that if we could do one or the other, one being permit more people to enter this country with work visas, or two, prepare our own people for these highly technical jobs. The thing to do is to prepare people for these highly technical jobs because, we have more open jobs in America than we have people who need jobs. It's just they're not suited for the jobs that are open, and we're not preparing them for them. Frozen Fox, he's a loose cannon. Look, Elon is a lot of things. I'm sure loose is one of them. Elon doesn't have money. He has stock. Stock isn't cash. It's not like, dude, he's $200 billion in the bank. Okay, yeah, but he's probably got more than $1 billion liquid, which is an unfathomable amount of money. What are your thoughts on Bill Gates? He's Elon Musk on the other side. Bill Gates is a pedophile, right? I mean, the whole thing with him, the alleged pedophile, but I don't know Bill Gates personally. His videos, he seems like a good guy, but what I see from him, I don't personally like. My understanding is that he was a good friend of Epstein. What he did with Epstein, we don't know. All right? He was a friend of Epstein. Epstein was a pedophile. And Bill Gates probably, at very least, knew what Epstein was doing. All right? So that is one thing I very much dislike about Gates. Also, you look at the Gates Foundation, and he comes out there and he says, here's a problem. If you can give me a solution, I'll give you money. This is not how the world works. Bill Gates should come out there and say, here is a problem. I'm going to hire the best talent to solve it. He's got the money. Shiva NJ1. I'm not necessarily saying review the cannabis product. What I'm saying is just do one of your normal videos, the ones that are about 10 minutes long, like the prepared video, but instead of drinking. Yeah, I mean, I would probably buy 2 of them to review them, but I don't want to smoke in my house, dude. I mean, other than burning sage, I'd rather not do that. Not necessarily saying, okay, Shiva NJ1, smoke the joint instead of drinking. You don't have to do a review of weed, just encompass it like you do the alcohol. Dude, I review the alcohol. That's why I have it. That's the whole point, is I got to use up the alcohol because I buy it for reviews, and then I have it. Tristan Smith, how do you guys have 0 degrees in anything important, but is developing vaccines, and he believes in eugenics. What a weirdo. You mean Bill Gates? I mean, look, I don't know what his stance on eugenics is. I do know that being a person with as much money as Bill Gates or any of the richest people on earth, like he's gone out there and said, "Oh, I'm going to give away my money at some point." And it's like, okay, dude, how about now? How about to me? How about you do some good things? Yeah, Billy boy. Okay. Don't be late for work, Tristan. I mean, I don't know what time I should be doing these things, but now is just I felt like doing one. I've had a really crappy day. No, I do not at this point have a PO box, Frozen Fox. Um, as I say, currently your methodology would be to shop my Amazon wish list, and I do have beverages on there. Tristran, he doesn't frozen. If you ship to me, I can ship to him. Ha 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 ha. Right, Richard? Yes. Tristan, working for Amazon, was able to look at my wish list and find my address, which is still creepy, Tristan. But thank you for what you sent me. Like I say, guys, I'm not doing the things that cost money. A PO box costs money, and I think it's like $15 a month or $25 a month. That was before the pandemic when I looked into it. I would love to have a PO box, but do understand that if you send me something, it can get damaged in the mail. So but as I say, if there's something that if it's on Amazon, I will add it to my wish list, and you guys can send it to me. It's never going to be a problem. That's there's all kinds of stuff on there. I mean, I'd rather work for what I get, but that's neither here nor there. Dude, it literally took me 3 hours of hard labor to find your Addy. It was, yes, Tristan, that doesn't make it any less creepy. You know that, right? I mean, it's really odd that you would want to find somebody's address. I've had to find addresses in my life, and you know, it didn't take me 3 hours, but it wasn't easy. And this thing keeps putting up ads, and it did cost me money, so it's a little weird. Okay, we're at the 90-minute mark now. Yes, you already told me that, and I understand it totally. Well, yeah, dude, I say things a lot, over and over again, because there's always new people watching. I mean, like I say, I love it when people send me cat food. Christmas, I got a box of cat food, and I fed my cats, and they all loved it. And then I went and I took a nap, and they all curled up around me, and I had a great time. Ugh, my battery's going. Why is my battery going? Oh, my plug fell out. There's the plug. There we go. Sorry about that. Technical issues. Where were I? I feel a connection to you, man. Not trying to be weird, but I like you. I'd probably die for you tomorrow if I had to. I don't know, man. Let's hope you don't have to die for me, bro. Something tells me if we get into that situation, it's not going to be good for either of us. You know, look, when I worked with the homeless, which I did for 6 years, I was able. I don't know how many cats I have, Tristan. I'm fostering. But when I worked with the homeless, I connected with people very easily, and that was a weird thing because, broken people fit together, dude. I mean, I don't know why. Do you play any games at the moment other than CNC Generals? I don't even play CNC Generals anymore. Yeah, Green Dog, I love interacting with you folks. I mean, if I didn't, we wouldn't have been here for as long as we are here. You don't sit there and do something for 2 hours because you hate it. The last one was 2 hours, just over 2 hours long. That doesn't sound genuine. Hey, look, I don't express joy well, all right? I don't. People used to ask me if I was born without the muscles to smile. It feels so weird. It does. It gets a weird feeling right in here. Sheev, man, I don't pack boxes, haha. I load bags and then load trucks. I was not born without the muscles to smile. I have the muscles to smile. I just have had very little reason to. Look, dude, understand something that my mother wanted 4 children, and my father did not want children at all. He wanted to be the baby. So they fought a lot. And, when I was born, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Okay? So it really put a lot of stress on the relationship. And I think my old man really blamed me for all that. And I think in his heart, he believed that if my mother hadn't been pregnant with me, that she wouldn't have got the cancer and she would have died. And he really believed that, I was the reason their marriage fell apart. We keep going down to 6 and then rising up to 7. I don't know how many of you there should be for this to be sustainable. I mean, look, I'm not going to know how much I want to do live streams until next Monday. And the reason for that is I have to see how it impacts my Richard Simp 119, my king. Yes, Frozen Fox, that's a burden to put on a child. I was 26 the last time my old man complained about me ruining his marriage. That's why I stopped talking to him. Shiva NJ1, yeah, he loves interacting with us. That's why he's looking to get ready to shut down the live stream. Well, Richard Simp 119, love your content. Guys, I don't know how long to do these, all right? I mean, I would think an hour would be a good time. The minute counter has stopped stopped at 89 minutes, so I don't know how long we're going. There's 7 people in the chat, and I believe I'm one of them. So this it doesn't look like it's that popular. I mean, we need to find a time to do these where more of you can be around. Tristan Smith, Richard, you should come hang out with me on Twitch, man. I'll be going live again next Monday. I don't think I have a Twitch account. I mean, again, I don't have any games set up on this thing. It's really not a very reliable computer. So, but I mean, maybe I should check out the stream. I don't know, dude. You're here for me, and maybe I should be here for you. I'd probably be doing other stuff, but yeah. Now you stay live until your live viewership says 1. Okay. I guess that's a way to do it. It's not a good stream. Ha ha ha. It's not good at all. I mean, look, guys, I can only do this so long, obviously. Ben Shapiro. Okay, I've heard that name. That's the Justice, Justice Shapiro. Is that the guy with the RV? Ben. No. American commentator. I don't know who Ben Shapiro is. Political commentator, media. Okay, yeah, so I've seen Ben, and I think I have mixed feelings toward him. He is staunchly pro-Israel, I believe. That's where I know him from. But, let's be honest. I don't believe in handing Israel a blank check. There should be some, obviously Benjamin Netanyahu bears a certain level of responsibility for the October 7th attack, and I don't care for him. But Shapiro, I think he's just too far. I'm not dead sure if I'm thinking of the same guy. Maybe somebody who just looks like him, but I think he's a little too right wing. No, not yours. Mine. Yeah, I figured Tristram. Ultra conservative. Yeah, look, Green Dog. I am very much middle of the road. Okay, if there's any person in this world whose politics I align with, no, that is not what I want to have on here. I don't think that's free content. But if there's any person in this world whose politics I agree with 100%, or at least close to, it would be Bill Maher. Okay, Bill Maher is. Okay, the chat is active and lively. The stream is live, of course. It's good for your channel. Yeah, dude, I'm hoping this is going to give me some hours. Seriously, you don't know Ben Shapiro? I don't know, dude. I think I've seen some of his videos, and that's about it. His sister has huge knockers, so that's a plus. Okay. Shiva NG1. It's freaking 12:30 at night, and I got to be at work at 8:30 in the morning, and I'm sticking around for this live stream. Dude, it is going to be available. If you go to my channel page, there's a section that says live, and anything you miss, you can watch. Okay, it will go to private as soon as I close it, But you know, I will make it available for you. So don't think you have to be here, man. If you got to go to work, dude, worry about you, not me. Ben Shapiro's sister. I mean, I'm assuming that's what you mean because my sister does not, so far as I remember, have big knockers. But then I haven't actually looked at her in a couple of years now. Okay, Tristram Smith. Hey, Richard, you can only pick one. Would you pick an 850 credit score, 5 million cash, or 6K a week? Um, one of the three. My credit score isn't all that far from 850, dude. Or at least it wasn't. I mean, may not be as good now. So I'd have to do the math. I mean, the 5 million cash. Are there taxes? Because that would be a thing. I've got to leave for work in 7 minutes, but I have Bluetooth headphones and I can listen the entire time it's live. Yeah, dude, I don't know how much longer I can stay alive. Uh, Ben Shapiro's a Jew, of course. You're going to like him low. Yes, as I say, I believe I ran into him because he's pro Israel. There are things I like about him and there are things I dislike about him. Frozen Fox, I'm wanting for a microphone. Hurry up, Tristram. That's really good on the credit score. I've got a 530 right now. Haha, no taxes on any of it. Um, okay, so 6K a week for how long? Because the 5 million is might be able to get more than 6K interest off the 5 million per week, but I'd have to look it up. I mean, that's the thing about money. I ordered one from Amazon. Okay, so Frozen Fox ordered a microphone from Amazon, and he's telling Tristram over there to hurry up and ship it to him. What makes you think it's in Tennessee? $6K a week is 300.